All right. Welcome everybody to Geezy Truth News. How's everybody doing? Well, we got a lot of things to talk about, and it's gonna be a huge deal. Lots of we've been gone past couple weeks. My bad on that. But we have a whole lot to talk about. A lot of things are going on, and just trying to keep all the homies updated and all that good stuff. And so thank you very much. Looks like the technical engineers letting me know we may have some technical difficulties on the show today. So just calling that out. So thank you very much for that. Everybody's doing good on the show. And thank you, everybody, for helping out and all that good stuff. Now then, we have lots to talk about. It's a lot of things. How's everybody doing? It is May 12th, 2017. And, another, happy Friday. Happy another week go by. Lots of good stuff. And so we're gonna be seeing how all this goes. So where do we begin? I just we're gonna have to cover a lot of things. Callers call in. I believe the numbers. My audio engineers are letting me know the phone lines should be open and things should be working out. So we're going to just talk about everything and see how it goes. Hopefully we have a lot of correspondents call in. Hopefully a lot of callers call in the show. And we'll see how everything's go. Now then, well, what is going on with everywhere? What is going on with everywhere? Within the nation and out in the world. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of money to be made. Lots of money to be spent. And lots of inflation and lots of things going on. So, this ain't fake news. This is Geezy Truth News. So, from the get-go, obviously one of the most recent things that has happened is the FBI director James Comey has been fired by our Donny boy. Well, let me tell you, this is long overdue. Long overdue. I don't know how all the Patriots are doing and how all the people are doing and what's everybody hearing. I know not a whole lot of people listen to the fake media anymore, but apparently here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently the propaganda is working because it seems like there's a lot of people who are upset. I was reading an article the other day by I don't know if it was the Washington Post or I think it was CBS or whatever. This ABC or one of those, and they were saying that over 50% of the nation were disappointed and not agreeing with Donny Boy's decision of firing the director of the FBI, James Comey. But again, here's the thing. Long overdue. I mean, there's off the top of my head, I'm sure you can find a lot of dirt on this guy. I mean, from what I understand, from all the news that we all try to figure out, all the research that we figure out, as patriots in this country that are figuring it out, is that, well, how does a banker get to be from the banker? I don't know if he was the head, he was the CEO of HSBC or what his deal was, which was, we'll talk about that. But he was a banker. How do you go from head banker to head of the FBI? Now, I don't know if he was the head of the HSBC, but he was, I'm assuming, a top profile banker. But regardless, You know, you don't put a plumber to change out your brain. And so, you know, just like you don't get a, you know, doctor to go change out your plumbing. You have different people for different jobs, and that's you get the job done right. You get the right specialist, right? So you get this banker, and you put this banker ahead of the FBI. Obama did that. I don't know where that went or what his background was. I couldn't find any aside from the HSBC scandal, which happened under James Comey, which he resigned when he went over to the head of the FBI. But during his time of HSBC, which is a you know, obviously world famous bank, you know, those bankster gangsters, there's plenty of them out there, and the HSBC is one of them, one of the oldest ones, I'm pretty sure, and they were caught, obviously, with money laundering, lots of drug-related money, and massive corruption, massive laundering. Nothing new to us, right? We keep finding all these informations and all this stuff. We keep finding all this stuff, and that's what that is. So I mean, I don't know how that works out. And again, when you keep on, you know, Solera brings in mind, because I mean, just the corruption is everywhere in every crack and crevice. When Obama did the Solera thing for the $1 billion deal, and then I think he gave him another $1 billion or something ridiculous, and then they lost all the money and then declared nothing, and then they got away with scot-free. That was the solar company called Solera, that was under the, you know, environment, you know, department, whatever. You know, gotta get rid of this. Drain the swamp. You know, drain the swamp. I don't know if Donnie Boy's finally doing it, whether it's taken some time, a lot of hits. And whatever's working out is working out. So that's that. Bottom line is, it's very, very overdue. And here's another thing of the firing of James Comey. And here's another thing. There's I mean, where do I even begin? I mean, you know, again, the founding fathers wouldn't really care about this Democrat, Republican, jumbo wumbo. The founding fathers wouldn't really care about this, because the state of the country that it is right now is in ridiculous shape, in a very negative way. And at this point, it doesn't matter what party you're in, and there needs to be bipartisan reaction to fix all these problems. There'd be no question about it a couple hundred years ago, obviously, but you know, obviously now with the, you know, just with the way society is ran and whatever, you know, it's obviously people are waking up. You know, the good guys are winning. I believe so. I think so. I'm doing the show. People are doing everybody's shows. People are waking up, listening. You know, the good guys are winning, I believe, and boy, do we have so much more to talk about. But bottom line is that Democrats are just saying, but before Donnie Boy fired James Comey, the Democrats were all saying, all of them were saying how he needs to be fired and how this and that. I mean, literally, you see all of them saying, you know, Chuck Schumer and all those blah, 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 neocon agents, whatever, all these guys, all these warmongers, whatever, you know, they were all saying how he needs to be fired, and now Donnie Boy fires him, and now everybody is against him, and no, you know, this is because of the Russian thing, you know, all the Russian aggression, and Russian this and Russian that, meddling with our affairs and stuff. Meanwhile, in the French election, we had Obama go over there, and other people meddling in their affairs. And speaking of which, they found, allegedly, you know, the French election, okay, so we're done with the, you know, callers call in, we could talk about all the stuff. You know, the James Comey thing, long overdue. Donnie Boy got him right in the butt. You know, he got him right. He was out there doing speeches saying how great of a guy he is, or he's going to be in the you know, he's going to be head of the FBI for the next 6 years or whatever, and very confident and blah, blah, blah. And then Donnie Boy is like, you know what, you're fired, you know, right there. So that's great. And, you know, you got to read the documents and the and the reports that he received and the reasoning. You could get the email that, or the letter that, what's his name, Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, sent over. Oh, and here we got a caller right now. Let's see what we got over here. Got a lot more. All right, hello caller. How's it going? What is your name?
Hi, my name is Stanley.
All right, Stanley. How is it going? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just here at work. You know, it's pretty slow, so I thought I'd call in and talk about this whole FBI director business with you for a little bit. I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I might get some interruptions here.
Okay, fantastic. Well, lay it on us. Let us know what you think.
If you want my cold hard opinion, I think that I really do think that he's just being another Nixon right now, because the information. One of the reasons that he fired him was because he believed that he didn't do enough information on the Clinton email investigation. Basically, just gave her like a flag. It was just like, hey, you know, you're fine. There was no problem here. Yeah, it's all good. So I believe that if he was going to fire him, he would have done it right when he became president.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that now, because he fired him, I do believe that it was because he was getting a little bit too much into the investigation with the Russian thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion, so.
Is that all? Is that all you think, or is there more to the story, or what's...
I mean, there's some other... I've been reading here. I'm just trying to find here more on... Because I was doing a little information, and yeah, I do see that when he was doing that with the whole Clinton thing, he basically said, you know, they didn't do anything illegal. They were just... The Clinton administration was just really clumsy with the way that they handled their emails.
Well, that's dead on. I mean, the guy is a scumbag, really. He was a very shady character, and you couldn't tell what he was doing. And it's quite obvious he was being a bit ridiculous. The James Comey guy.
So what James Comey, like what ridiculous stuff do you believe that he did besides the whole Clinton email thing?
Well, as I mentioned, that's a huge deal. I mean, here, you want to talk about that just for a second. I mean, here he lays down all the facts, right? Here he lays down all the facts. He literally names off all the horrible stuff that Hillary Clinton did. You know, he names the Benghazi, and he names the emails, and all this fraudulency and all this shady stuff. I mean, he names all the stuff that she did for the most part as PC as you can be. But he was laying it all out there, proving how ineffective she was as a person in the White House, Secretary of State, and all that. And then she lets him go, or he lets her go. So how does that make any sense? How can he name off all these bad things and then be like, yeah, actually she's fine?
Well, I mean, if you really looked into the whole Clinton thing, it was all about the emails, right? And how that she used her personal email for all this stuff. So it was all kind of just leaked out there. Was that how it was? I'm not.
Well, no, it's everything. So. It's everything. I mean, there's too much information on her showing that too much proof showing that she didn't care about anything and that she was doing all these secret deals and all this and that. I mean, it's obvious. I mean.
All right, now I got something. So if all that's true, yeah, and so this whole investigation into the Russian thing that he was doing, why is that all of a sudden like a bad thing? Why,
who said it was a bad thing?
Investigating the Russian thing.
Who said? Well, they've been talking about this Russian aggression crap for quite a while now. I mean, they've been doing all this for a while. Not to mention, just because he's fired doesn't mean the investigation is over. Even though, I want to add on that they've already proved that there was no Russian meddling. There's no evidence in Russian meddling whatsoever. And as a matter of fact, Russia gave more money to Hillary Clinton than to any other candidate in the campaign. But the bottom line is that well, here's you brought up a good thing. That why did it take Donnie Boy so long? Why did it take him so long to fire the guy? Well, you have to understand that it's a giant chess game. I think, obviously we don't understand the levels that they are at. We can we could talk to each other. I could do the show. Everybody can do the show. We can figure it out. We could talk and lecture all we want. We can research and analyze all we want. Well, guess what? We're not in the White House, so we don't know what's going on. So they might be dealing with all this stuff. And if he would have fired James Comey right when he became president, that would have set off. I mean, I'm just thinking right now. It's like, well, that would have set off red flags to other people. I mean, here's the thing. I'm really glad it's long overdue. The guy should have been fired a long time ago. Because here's the thing. If you look back on James Comey's background, I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, is that he was a banker. He was one of the heads or the head of the HSBC Bank as a world banker, as a banker in this company, in this bank. And then all of a sudden, and by the way, they found massive corruption, massive money laundering, drug money, and all this stuff through the HSBC Bank that he was the head of at the time. And right when all that was happening, he resigned and Obama appointed him as head of the FBI. So, I mean, the whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. You look at different professions. This guy's profession was a banker. What does banking have anything to do with investigative, analyzing research or whatever they got to do?
You mentioned that. I'm actually starting to get more on your side because I called in to get more information on this, so it's good that I called in. You're giving me more than I knew. I'm also reading that another reason that he was fired is because apparently when Trump gave the claim that Obama was wiretapping his campaign and stuff, basically Comey just dismissed that, didn't care at all.
Well, you got to understand, all these guys are liars. All these guys are liars. These guys are all just scummy liars and whatever. If he's not a pedophile, then he's a pedophile that's he's protecting the pedophiles. So it makes him just as bad. He's protecting. The reason why he didn't admit to Hillary's guilt is because if he had to admit to Hillary's guilt, he would have had to admit to Obama's guilt as well. I think a lot of people think that's why that was the case. It would have been a huge scandal, so they were like, okay, well, we have to, let it go. Otherwise, they would have had to do all this ridiculous stuff, which needs to happen, but maybe it doesn't need to be all in, they didn't want to implode on itself. They didn't want an explosion. Whatever the reasoning was, he couldn't get...
So, what's your opinion on Jeff Sessions, as a human being? Because he was the one that gave a recommendation to this guy named Ron Rosenstein, who gave the recommendation to Trump that the guy should be fired in the first place.
Oh, yeah, well, they're obviously very good. They're obviously very good if that's the case. I mean, look, this is what happened. I just mentioned this earlier as well. So Jeff Sessions, I mean, I can't say that I know too much about him myself, but he seems like a good guy. He seems like hopefully he's got a head. Look, it all comes down to...
except for the fact that he wants to crack down on marijuana. Besides that.
Sure. Well, I mean, you can nitpick all you want, but the bottom line is you gotta look at all of it as a whole. And the thing is that it comes down to, I mean, there is good and evil. You look at these bad, I honestly believe this whole pedophile ring thing, we'll be talking about more of that. I'm going to keep bringing this up until there's going to be, people are waking up. Donnie Boy is doing something about this. The fake media is not reporting anything at all. Not that anybody's listening to them anyway, but they're not reporting any truth.
Things just died down. Pizzagate's over. No one cares about it anymore.
Yeah, well, no, people are in the works. People are waking up. Donnie Boy is doing executive orders left and right trying to fix this stuff. The first executive order he did when he became president of United States was to crack down on this pedophilia shit. So he's trying to do the best he can, I believe, and I think now hopefully now he really does drain the swamp, because he hasn't been. I want to, again, it's like, why did it take him so long to fire him? And I think, maybe, he wanted the radar down or whatever, the red alert down. But, no, the Jeff Sessions and the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, I mean, if you read the letters, I mean, he wrote an entire letter explaining why exactly he should be fired. And the thing is everybody knew it from the beginning. So now that the fact that the Democrats wanted him fired, and now that they're all like throwing a fit about it now is ridiculous. You know, everybody,
Yeah,
and they're making.
Congress is just, they're going crazy. They're really concerned about his decision there.
It's all just illusion. It's all just propaganda. They're trying to ramp up the World War III. These guys are warmongers. They want to go to war with Russia. We want to tell the Russian people we don't want to see. There's a difference. I was explaining this to a friend of mine the other day, and people know this, that there's a difference. There's the American government, there's the Russian government, and then there's the American people and the Russian people, right? The governments may want to attack each other. They might want to kill each other. Hopefully, Donny Boy and Putin are getting friends, because that would be the best thing for the two nations. But the fact of the matter is, the American people don't want war, and the Russian people don't want war, and we have the same core values, and we want to be friends. You know, we're handing out.
Who's making these big decisions?
It's obvious.
Right? Who's making these?
Oh, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. This World War III bullshit is so obvious. They're lying through their teeth. They're not even afraid. What do you think about the French election? This French election fraud is ridiculous. I wanted to mention the viewers. I wanted to tell them that on the day of the French election, it came out that apparently 60% of the ballots came up missing. That had to have been voted for Le Pen. Allegedly all of this. They were spoiled. It says right there. The French news reports it same day. And somehow it all blows through and all works out. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what the French people are doing and whether they know what's going on. I don't know. I need to have a French correspondent because things are going crazy. Because did you know about that? Yeah, Macron won.
No, I heard about the election. I heard that
it was
the new
ridiculous.
guy being in there is going to bring in a lot more like socialist bullshit. They're going to like.
Oh, and it's so horrible. It's so horrible because
like that.
Yeah, all they want is a tight grip on everybody.
Sharia law is going to come to France soon. That's what they keep saying.
And they want that. I don't know. One thing's for sure. I wanted to mention that one thing that is for sure is that the most countries with the most the refugees has the most terrorist attacks.
Oh yeah, there's videos of like groups of them literally like trying to rape a woman in public, and the police can't do anything about it because there's so many of them.
Yeah, and some of these liberal governments are saying, "Oh, that's just their culture. We need to get along." It's okay. They're letting their women and children be raped by these refugees, and they're saying it's okay. They're pretty much letting the refugees off the hook and that it's their culture and they need to integrate. I mean, what kind of bull sneezy is this? And how is nobody, if people are waking up, I know they are, if people are dealing with this, we're not hearing about it. We have to dig real deep to find out because, again, the governments do not want us to let us know. And this World War III, New World Order garbage is I'm really sick and tired of it, and everybody else is too. And obviously, I mean, they're trying so hard.
You can tell the globalists are really, really, really like in full speed trying to push this.
Exactly.
They're really trying to get it into their heads.
Exactly.
And in my opinion, I think that this whole Russian thing and like the conflict, I believe that they're trying to make it between the two biggest powers, basically United States versus Russia, and that will start like the war.
Big time. They want. Well, I bet you this. A lot of people have been saying this, and I agree with them. Is that historians down the road are going to say that we are already in World War III right now, because I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen, but we're technically. I mean, look what's going on. We're blowing everything up. What nobody's talking all this stuff. You know what? All this crazy nonsense going on right now. We are in World War III right now. And another thing I want to say is I don't believe in drafts. I don't think they're going to try to draft us or any. I don't think so. If that's going to happen, I feel like, us millennials are such. We've gotten so pussyfied that I don't think these millennials are even going to go fight. I mean, they're not. That's not. Can you imagine these safe zone? Yeah, say they're going to get a safe zone. They're not going to do it. So yeah, I mean this is yeah, and I agree with you. They are trying to ramp it up, and they're not even they don't even care. They're lying through their teeth. They know they're not even trying to hide it, and they realize it because they're I don't know. They're either doubling down or what's going on. It's something else though. It's something else.
Yeah, it really is. All
So
right, Sean. Well, I'm getting some customers, so I'm gonna have to go now. But it was good being on your show, and actually, thank you for giving me more information on this. I think you kind of switched my opinion on his firing. So.
hey, no problem. It's all about the truth and the research. Thank you very much, Stanley. Thank you for the call.
For sure.
All right. Have a good one. Bye. Well, there you go. That's good. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. What can I say? You know, this is people need to know the truth, and people are waking up. So let's go down the order. We got to go down the order. We got a lot of stuff. So, oh, here's another great thing. This is great. Donnie Boy just and here's one of the cues that people are thinking maybe he's gonna start doing the drain the swamp thing now because we hope that he's on our side. I mean, he's got to be. I mean, if not, we have a lot of troubles ahead of us. But we got to have faith. I mean, there's the truth prevails. Donnie Boy just did an executive order on an integral voting commission where he wrote pretty much an executive order saying that there's voting fraud or there's all this fake election voting fraud, all this crap. Well, there you go. He just did an executive order on integral voting commission that they're going to find out, and so hopefully that's going to clear up some stuff. And so he's trying. He's doing some stuff. So there's that. Just recently did that. It's about time. Long overdue. A lot of this stuff is long overdue. We'll see. We'll hopefully we keep going down the bibbity bops because this is we're getting down to the wire here. Something is going on. They keep saying our master economists keep saying the economy is going down. What was the market today? Let's see. What was the market? Wait, what are they saying? Does it say? I was just curious what the market was right now. What's the bippity bop? Because they keep saying our master people. I went down 0.1%. I mean, that's really not. It's not a whole bippity bob much. But here's the thing. There's at 20,896. Dow Jones Industrial Average is at 20,896. They keep saying our master economists or famous respected economists are saying the economy's great. It's going up. We're doing good and bibbity bop this and bibbity bop that. We are in a freaking bubble. It's crazy. It's crazy how they're lying through their teeth. They got shit-eating grins saying that the economy is doing great and that things are doing splendid. It is the complete opposite. How can you be saying that things are doing great when there's more and more people not losing? There's more and more people with unemployment and there's no jobs, no money. There's no money. More homelessness. You look at homelessness; it's increasing every day, and they're saying that things are looking great. How is that possible when the economy is bad? Nobody's buying things. Nothing's working. Debt is going up. You look at the numbers and it doesn't add up to what they're saying. Saying that this is great. And how is the economy going up when 80% of millennials live at home with their parents? 80%. So how is that possible? They're saying all these things. They're saying that the unemployment is 4 or 4.4%. How is unemployment 4.4% when we have 90 million Americans unemployed looking for a job? And how is that the math doesn't quite up there? That's almost like 25%, not 4.4%. They have this new methodologies and they do all this fake stuff. I don't know what they're doing, but I mean they're just Look, the government just keeps lying and lying, and how the hell people deal with it, I have no idea, because they keep lying and lying, and it's just lie over lie, and it's just I don't get how people do it. You know, we gotta do something about this. Gotta write up a petition or something. I mean, people are winning. People are winning. People are doing good. But we gotta see what's up. So, the whole, I mean, the medical, we talk about the medical industrial complex and all these industrial complexes. All this stuff is going downhill. Health insurance agencies are losing money. Everybody's losing money. The economy is doing great, but everybody's losing money. And the Dow is somehow going up. But you got these health insurance agencies complaining that they're losing millions of dollars. They're losing millions of dollars. And they're saying how everything's doing good. So, and we already know about the medical industrial complex. They keep trying to pump up these vaccines, trying to make them mandatory, trying to create new vaccines, trying to create new medications and all this crap that nobody needs. You're sick, take this medicine, and now you're better, but now you have this side thing, now you got to take this medicine. I mean, just payment after payment after payment. Nobody can afford any of this shit. Nobody can afford any of this crap. And that's why you see all this homelessness. You got more and more. I live in Seattle. You got more and more homeless people here every day because people can't live. People can't live on these skyrocketing. 80% of millennials live at home, but yet rent is going up. Housing prices are going up. Everything is going up. The price of beer and milk and everything, inflation is going up, and yet the economy is doing great. Believe that, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't no Tom and Jerry show. Believe that. So there's that. It's just phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. It really is. So, and as I said, we talked about the French election. We talked about what's going on there. And because they knew they could not lose this one. Because if they lost this one, it would have been a huge hit for the globalists. It would have been a huge hit for the globalists. They would have lost a huge battle. I'm seeing these as battles now. It's like the Battle of 1812 and the, all this stuff. It's like, okay, it's a battle, and we lost the battle on freedom. Freedom versus globalism. Freedom versus the globalists. Freedom versus the NWO. And so they unfortunately won that battle, because here's what happens. Here's the results. It's not because of anybody gambling and lost money on it. It has nothing to do with that. It is a huge, huge, bigger deal. And what that is that, a socialist won, Macron or whatever, a liberal guy, and he's saying, like our caller earlier, Stanley, mentioned that whatever, they're going to try to do some stupid stuff, but the fraud was proven, and here's what it causes is that then the effect is that they're going to try the whole Brexit thing. They're trying to postpone it as much as possible, and that was the thing. If Marine Le Pen would have won, that would have been a huge victory for Brexit and for freedom, what we were talking about. And it would have been better for the French people. I mean, it obviously is. That's what that is. Because now, instead of breaking free from the horrible EU that's sucking everybody up dry, and it obviously has not worked out. You look at the history of the EU, and it has been a complete disaster. It's been a complete disaster and a complete failed experiment, thanks to the wise men and Schmuck McCoy, whatever his name is, who was the head of one of the heads of the Warren Commission somehow, when he was a banker, and he had nothing to do with being knowing what's going on with medically coroner stuff. Now, how was he the head of that? So, Brexit, they're going to try to stop Brexit. 50% of the British people apparently are afraid that the Brexit, that the EU is going to try to stop Brexit, which is, I mean, they've said it. That is what's happening, and so that's that. And we'll see how it goes with the French people. I mean, if they're going to have a, they're going to figure it out, or hopefully they do. And so that's that. And then apparently what I heard was, again, these EU people, I mean, these guys are going, it's not looking so hot. And Austria is apparently on the verge of collapse. And there's many resignations in the government of Austria, apparently. I haven't really looked into that. But we'll see what's going on. But again, you see that it's all falling apart. And, I think that the bad guys they're gonna fail. It's not working out for them. Look, if they wanted to do this, they would have done this a long time ago. And so I don't think there's not a whole lot more they can do. Is pretty much what I'm saying. You got your cards and you play your best cards. Well, once your best cards are out, you got nothing else. Pair of, pair of threes or something, and you got nothing. You got nada. And so there's that. And let's see. As I was saying, the homelessness and the inflation rates and all this, things are getting more expensive. People are on the verge. They're people can't live. It's very hard. It's very hard. And homelessness is on the rise. And everything, all the bippity bops, all the horrible stuff that you could think of is on the rise, and everything that's good is declining. I mean, more or less, you look at the big picture, and like I said, it's working out, but we are in the red, We're in the red. We're deep in the red. And so, but people are waking up, and I think it's doing good. Seattle apparently announced. I wanted to talk about the subprime loans of car loans and such, and that it's a lot of people are speculating that the same thing that was happening with the housing market is happening with the auto loan market, with the car loans market. It's obviously a very, very good time to get a car, kind of like it was a very good time to get a house right before the 2008 crash, because they were giving out loans to everybody, to here, to there, the subprime loans. Everybody's got this, everybody got that, very easy to get. And so when you look at the numbers, that's what it looks like. So it could be another thing, and that's just another thing to add on to that. So, and obviously the next crash is going to be brutal. People are expecting a much worse 2008, and people are, you don't want any of this to happen. But I mean, if that's the case, then that's the case. And especially with what they're doing, if they're giving out cars to everybody. I mean, what happened in 2008? They gave everybody a house, then it crashed. Well, if they do the same thing, they give everybody a car, and it's going to crash. So there's all that on the bippity bop. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Lots of bizarre things. Lots of bizarre stuff that I was looking over, and people were talking about. This whole Antifa thing. This whole Antifa scares the shit out of me. I don't know what is going on with this Antifa shit, and I haven't done too much research on this shit, but these people look scary. I mean, these guys are pussies, but these guys are, that's the scariest of all, is, these people trying to do violent acts. A buddy of mine showed a video of these Antifa people. First of all, they're funded by George Soros, which has been a proven fact, and there's been much evidence to point to that. And you know, if you don't know about Antifa, if you haven't heard of them yet, they're this group that's anti-fascist. That's what they proclaim, but they seem like fascists themselves. They go around beating people up and all this horrible stuff. And then I had a buddy the other day show me a video of this Antifa guy. Well, one quote in one video, and the quote says that they need fire. They don't need baseball bats and mittens anymore. They need firepower and training now. End quote. And that's pretty scary. Now these guys aren't trying to just beat you up now. They're trying to kill you. They're trying to. He showed me this video where you could look up on YouTube, and he's like, this stupid ass pussy has got an AK. I don't know how he got an AK, and he doesn't know how to work it or nothing. It's very scary. He's got this AK, and he's like, yeah, and you know, I guess he's gonna go. I don't know if he doesn't proclaim in the video that he's gonna go kill people, but I mean, it's like you connect all the dots, and I mean, they say there's Antifa people that say this, that they get these guns and they're trying to attack people and stuff. I mean, hopefully they don't even know how to work the damn thing, and that we could just arrest them as it is. But this is some pretty scary stuff. I mean, if these guys are getting crazy. These guys are beating people up, and now they got guns. That is a scary issue. And you need to figure out what the hell's going on over there. George Soros is wanted. He's got warrants in I don't know how many countries, but I know he's got a warrant for an arrest in Russia, and I believe in England as well, because this guy is a crook. And how nobody talks about this guy and what the deal is, I have no idea. But this George Soros guy is bad juju jelly beans, and he's funding. You know, you already know all the stories. I mean, this guy funds, he funded the Orange Revolution, or God knows what. Speaking of which, who forgot about Ukraine? Whatever happened to Ukraine? They're talking about all this. There's still violence and war and turmoil in Ukraine. Nobody's talking about it. All this bull sneezy is going on. No, I mean, people are talking about it, but nobody's talking about it. It's like they're suppressing the information. They're suppressing the truth. It's some bull sneezy, ladies and gentlemen. And I just have no idea I'm doing the best I can, just like everybody else. But at the same time, we are waking up, and damn, some crazy stuff. And they're trying to fight speech. They're trying to freedom of speech and stuff. They're trying to get rid of all it. They're trying to get rid of our Constitution. You can't do this. You can't do that. Read 1984 by George Orwell. I mean, everything is pretty much happening. They're trying to take the less speak, the double speak. They're trying to lose all these words. They're banning the words. You got to look this stuff up, guys. You got to look this up. This ain't no bippity bop. This is some bull sneezy. And this is some real talk. And, it's the real truth. It really is. It really bippity bopping is. So, you ask, what's the tickety tank? Well, here's more of it. There's plenty of the diggity donk. Plenty more where that came from. So now they're trying to ban freedom of speech and stuff. And again, I don't care what side you're on. I mean, there's no sides to me. I mean, for me, is why would you not be on the good side? We're trying to figure out. The government's lying to you every single day. Why would you not be on we're the U.S. Citizens. We're the American people. We hired the government to do all this shit. They're lying to us. What do you do to an employee that's lying to you? You just let them off the hook every day? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you not look into his stuff? You got to look into this shit. And there's trillions of dollars missing. Ask the Pentagon where all that money went to all these black projects. Who knows? I'm kind of throwing all kinds of stuff over there right now. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to mention all this stuff as much as I can, within the time frame of the show. Because everybody's lying. Every single one of these little peckerheads are lying. And there's a few of them out there. There's a couple good guys. Now, here's the thing. here's the thing. What I hope, I hope this the replacement. We'll see who replaces James Comey. But what would be really sick, what would be hella legit, be hella logistics, would be Trey Gowdy. That would be pretty logistics because that guy's a badass mofo and he's trying to figure this sneezy out, just like a real good person would. And so, I think that'd be pretty legit. You know, he's been trying to. You know, if you haven't look into him, check out his vids. You know, this guy is one of the very few people in the government that really gives a damn and really tries. So, that's just one of the things, what I think. And so, I chew! And so, we got a whole lot of bull sneezing. So, what I was going to say is that apparently some high school, I don't know if it was where it was, some high school bans yearbooks of this year or something, or last year, this year. I think it's recent. A high school bans yearbooks because they mention inappropriate quotes like "build that wall" and stuff. Like, who cares what you say? I mean, there's obviously some very, you can't say ridiculous stuff. But this ain't ridiculous. Build that wall, whatever. Inappropriate quotes. I mean, look, I could tell you some inappropriate stuff. Anybody could tell you some inappropriate stuff. But freedom of speech, like build that wall, you have every right to. You have every right to say whatever the hell you want. And for the most part, there's exceptions to every rule. But this is not okay. This banning of freedom of speech, this suppressing of freedom of speech is a big no-no, and it goes against the Constitution, and is a huge it's a huge red flag. That's how you know. They've been trying to do all this bad stuff for a long time, and that has literally been the only thing that, to protect us is the Constitution. If it wasn't for the Constitution, we would have been over a long time ago. They would have been over a long time ago. And so, it's very simple. It's taking a very long time, but obviously, just like every other dictatorship, all they want is they want everybody to be on the government subsidies or whatever. Everybody wants to be the government, the dictatorship, whatever. They want to be in control of you, obviously. So they want you to be dependent of them, and then once they got a tight grip on everybody, then they could do whatever they want. Like, most likely, take guns away, and then we all know what happens after that. And so it really is a constitutional thing, and it comes down to basics. Back to basics. B2B. It really is. B2B. So, and again, they say the economy is great, but the economy is shit. Look what's happening to all these stores. I don't know if you heard about Sears. Oh, speaking of Sears, you listen to the Sears guy. The CEO of Sears is so delusional. This guy says that to stockholders, by the way, I would just say, it's like, look, the stock market is a joke. It's a complete joke, and in my opinion, I would get out of it ASAP. It is such a joke because it's all inflated. It's all fake numbers. There's nothing real. There's no real value there. And that's what it is. Anybody who understands any of this understands that, because you can't keep. But what happens when you keep blowing up a bubble and it keeps bigger and bigger and bigger? It pops. That's what it is. So that's what's going on. So the CEO says of Sears, he says, "Oh, don't worry," to the stockholders. Things are doing better than ever. We don't need any more customers. We have enough customers as it is. We're doing great. Meanwhile, in Ting Tong, Shit Town, USA, everything is, all the brick and mortar stores, including internet stores, they're all taking a hit. Nobody's making money. People are making money, but it's going down. It's going down. It's not. You see the J.C. Penney's in the mall. I see the malls shutting down here. Look, I live in Seattle. I heard J.C. Penney. I don't go to the mall, but I heard people tell me that the J.C. Penney is shut down. It doesn't even exist anymore. It's not even there anymore. The Sears, who's going and buying this crap? Nobody's buying this stuff. And so this CEO is so delusional that he's saying that they have enough customers as it is, when it's the complete opposite. It's all going down because nobody can afford it, and there's nothing there. Nothing even to pay. There's no good quality goods. And more importantly, there's no money. When you siphon all the money up to the top, that's another thing. If you siphon up all the money to the top, guess what? There's no economy. There's nobody in the bottom tier or the middle tier to recycle the money. There's no money to be had in the bottom two tiers. So then you get the top tier, whatever the people that have the most money, the top percent. There's no economy. You have to have all three levels to be functioning, to have a great economy, to be a prosperous country, yada yada. I mean, that's common sense. But everybody knows the top 1%, the bottom 99, whatever. But it's getting worse and worse every day. I mean, people are losing money, like I say, homelessness, all this tickety tonk and chibbity chomp. I mean, all this bippity pop. It's you already know. So let's see. I mean, again, with the government corruption. I mean, you look at the NSA. I mean, look at these clowns. These guys are spending millions. What does the NSA stand for? National Security Agency. We all know what they're supposed to be doing. We all know Edward Snowden. Thanks for him. He was a true patriot for leaking out the stuff. I mean, this is against the Constitution. The government, it's a tyranny. The government is abusing their power, abusing their system. They're, I mean, how can you, it's like, I wish I could stop talking, but you can keep talking about it. All this bull sneezy. It just goes on. The bull sneezy is endless. The bull sneezy is endless. And you can just keep talking and see all this stuff. And anyway, so NSA, turns out, of all the other crap that they have, that I read about this, that the NSA spends millions, and that they spent millions of dollars on other hackers that are not even part of the NSA to do their job, more or less. They paid these hackers because the NSA can't even hack into the iPhone. How pathetic is that? There's hackers who hacking iPhones all the time. There's hackers who, the NSA can't even hack into the iPhone. So they spend millions of dollars on other people to hack into the iPhones or whatever. And it's just endless corruption. Why are we paying these fools to do anything? Why? A lot of this is draining the swamp, getting rid of all these corrupt powers that are doing nothing but spending money and just sitting there. I don't know what's going on, but it's obviously not working. We're $20 trillion in debt, and you look outside and you got shutting down. You got everything shutting down, and you got crappy roads, and you got all this bull sneezy. For $20 trillion in debt, you would think we would at least have a nice road, a nice paved road, and we don't even got that. So then we got the FBI. So I want to tie this with the NSA, because same difference. Here's what the FBI says. So recently, apparently there was a Hollywood hack. There's a Hollywood hack, and there's a lot of victims in Hollywood that got hacked and blah blah blah, and that were made to pay the ransom. And you gotta, we hacked into your files. You have to pay us if you want the files back. This is a common theme that we've been hearing recently, and. What do you think the FBI tells? The FBI tells the Hollywood hacked victims, just pay the ransom. Just pay the ransom. Because nobody can do anything. The FBI can't do nothing. The NSA can't do nothing. Nobody can do nothing. Well, if they can't do nothing, then why are we hiring them? You know what I mean? Why are they there? You're fired. I think that you need to get rid of the FBI, get rid of the NSA. Now, of course, you got to replace them with something nice. get something legitimate. But these corrupt powers is very obvious. So that's what that is. So, and again, this whole revamping on World War III and the Russian aggression and the Russian meddling and the Russian investigation, even though there's no proof, there's nothing going on. What is the big deal? What is the big deal? They're saying, look, okay, yeah, okay, I understand. He should have admitted. Look, I don't know the details. Flynn, he's already fired, whatever. But look, the guy was talking to the ambassador. What do we expect? What is he not? What is he supposed to be doing? What are these people supposed to be doing? They're supposed to be talking to the Russian ambassador. They're supposed to be talking to these people, and being friendly, figuring things out, talking, conversating, and yet this is some kind of evil big. What's going on? What you think? You think what is going on? They think, again, they're trying to do this beef. They're trying to do this chicken, beef, lamb, whatever they're trying to do. They're trying to get a. They're trying to get in a mess. They're trying to get into World War III. They're trying to fight each other. So I don't know. I don't know what the top 1% is thinking. I don't know what these Rockefeller, Rothschild, pedophile freaks are trying to do. I don't know what's going on. They're going to hide in their bunkers, have a nuclear war, and then when everybody's dead, come out and claim Earth? I mean, I don't know. I think the ETs will save us before then. I don't think they're going to let these pedophile schmucks win, and I don't think they're going to win regardless. And so I think the ETs are giving us a chance to win as a human victory win before they settle down. Because speaking of which, we'll get into that later. Again, we're running out of time here, folks. But I'm trying to get through all this. You just got too much. There's just new things here and there, everywhere. Apparently, another buddy of mine told me that they're trying to crack down on the P2P streaming, all the not the torrenting, so to speak, but the people watching the free stuff. And instead of cracking down on the people, they're cracking down on the companies like AT&T and Spectrum or whatever the case is. And they're saying, well, look, for these people doing illegal activities on your computer or phone or whatever, who are watching illegally downloaded movies or whatever the case is, P2P sharing. This is what I'm hearing from my associate of mine, is that they're cracking down on these companies now. So these companies are going to shut your internet service off, and they'll just that's what they'll do. They'll just shut you off because they don't want to get sued themselves. So that's what I've been hearing. So I haven't confirmed that, but that's a little tip from an associate of mine that we'll have to look into. And that's there's a lot going on. Oh, and if I mentioned about the Seattle thing, I don't know if I mentioned the Seattle Times reported recently that millennials are helping reverse a downtrend on cars, which is a good thing, they allege, which is hilarious because, again, 80% of millennials live at home, which means that they can't afford rent, can't afford a house, can't afford anything, and so these millennials are idiots to be getting new cars in the first place. And because they're living at home. And they're getting into this. And, they see a good deal. They get hustled by the used car salesman or whatever. Whatever the case is. I've never bought a car from a dealership in my life. So I wouldn't know. But it's obviously a common thing. But that's what's going on, though. All these millennials apparently are getting all these car loans. And again, that goes back to the subprime loans of the car loan spiel. So that's going to blow up in their face. They think it's a good thing. Little do they know, right? Little do they know. Or do they? And I have no idea. We're all just talking here. We're all just figuring things out, right? And speaking of cyber attacks and hacks and all that stuff, is that apparently recently there's a huge sweeping cyber attack that hit Europe recently, and so I don't know too much about that, but apparently that's going on, and also ransomware is also this. I mean, who knows? I mean, all this stuff It's just crazy. And then who forgot about? People are not talking about Pizzagate anymore. People are not talking about Antarctica anymore. All these secrets. This is Antarctica. Remember all the famous people, all the top officials, or whatever. Who was it that went over? You know, all the Antarctica spiel. What's going on over there? They're doing all that. Everybody forgot about that. They're hiding some secrets down there. You need permission to get there. It's off limits. There's astronauts saying that there's stuff in Antarctica. And by the way, if you don't, obviously the ETs. I mean, there's we'll get to that. But again, I wanted to cover a lot today because I haven't been in a while. But lots of astronauts, a lot of people, a lot of top officials are saying that there's stuff in Antarctica and there's stuff in space. Obviously, there are aliens, and so and nobody's talking about Pizzagate either. Just we call it Pizzagate, whatever. But the pedophilia. I mean, this high look. If I'm lying, I hope I'm lying. I would rather be lying. I would rather be lying and crazy than any of this shit to be real, because this shit is effed up. This whole Pizzagate shit, and anybody who's looked into it knows that there's some funky sneezy going on. Because there too much dots and too many points to be made across, and things are just highly suspicious. And they're suppressing the Pizzagate stuff. They're suppressing the pedophilia stuff. 500,000 kids go missing every year. Nobody knows. Nobody talks about it. I mean, am I being suppressed? I don't know. Hopefully people are watching. Hopefully people are, making their own shows. I try to watch. There's a lot of people going up. There's a lot. I see a couple YouTubers blowing up. We need to go on a different platform. We need to get off the YouTube and Google. We need to get off these frickin'... they're all corrupt. We got to get off all this corruptibility. But we're doing the best we can. And it's looking good. It's looking good. There's a lot of good people out there. And I would love to mention them later, with their permission. I don't know how it works. But, with the Korea thing, it's a bunch of bull sneezy. Everything is just a bunch of bull sneezy. What can I tell you? I mean, look at... So, anyway, we're pretty much running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. But the bottom line is, the last couple things I want to say is, the cryptocurrency thing is very interesting. I wanted to mention Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know if I have before on the show, but this whole cryptocurrency stuff is very interesting. I don't know how bad it could be. Very bad. It could be very good. But it's a step to a different direction, which, hey, we need change. We need change. Whatever that hope and that change that Obama was talking about, look, none of that shit happened. And we need some real stuff going on. So this Bitcoin stuff, it's supposed to... The Ethereum is supposed to help a lot of truth. It's supposed to do a whole lot. This truth stuff. And, businesses, make them credible and legit, no corruption. You'd have to be a programmer to understand how all this computer mumbo jumbo works. But I would love for you to try. Look, I believe anybody can do anything. There's no, there's not a stupid question. Anybody can learn anything. In my eyes, it's like, it is what it is. You can learn this stuff. It's all about interest percentile. If you're, if you want to learn, you want to learn. But bottom line is, this Bitcoin stuff, it could be it's a good thing and a bad thing. I'm just trying to quickly go over as much as I can before turning off. But it's a step to the right direction. Less corruption, less authority, dictatorship type of language, and we don't want any of that. We want less language and more truth. So, and the last and final thing I wanted to say is the Stephen Greer thing. He recently came out with a new thing called Unacknowledged or something like that. Look into the Stephen Greer guy. Dr. Stephen Greer. Amazing guy. He and his team have compiled... I mean, they've been doing this for years and years and years and years. And they've compiled a lot of high top profiles, astronauts, high profile military, top military personnel. They found a lot of people saying that they found that Stephen Greer, the truth, the aliens, unacknowledged, the awakening, this, that it's obvious. The ETs thing is real, and about time for people to wake up for that. So we need to arrest all these pedophiles and wake up the people to know that there are ETs out there. Look, we're like a baby in a womb, and we need to be there may be some complications, but we're ready. We're ready to burst any moment now. We gotta go. We gotta figure this out, ladies and gentlemen. So that's pretty much everything. I mean, I'm done with the show. Pretty much, I got all the time out, and thank you everybody very much for tuning in and listening. And remember, this ain't fake news. This is Geezy Truth News is out. Thank you very much. Take it.